They've met this season. Their mini marathon in the Littlewoods Cup, which went to 2 replays, was unforgettable.
Aldridge ahead of him, Rush inside him, Barnes might go all the way! It's in the back of the net, from Barnes! Thomas playing it to Rocastle. It struck, oh, a fabulous goal by Rocastle!
Forward now to Merson. It's there! The last ball, Paul Merson! Picked up by McMahon. Long range shot! McMahon! 1-1. Ball to Ray Houghton. A little toe poke by him. And it's in there by Aldridge.
Liverpool's only concession once they'd gone into overdrive, a hard-crusted sandwich Kenny Dalglish tossed back in the direction of a benevolent Arsenal fan. It was as uncharacteristic as their vulnerability at Upton Park on Wednesday.
Martin trying to get in there as well. And a goal! It's Cornets! And he's gone in!
Liverpool never recovered. Their heaviest defeat for 5 years transpired. Kenny rarely gives anything away and tends to save unless he and Liverpool are at their most dangerous right now. Which just might have been the topic of conversation in the Arsenal dressing room beforehand. Well, our commentators today, Trevor Francis, who features in our half-time goals roundup, and Brian Moore.
Thanks a lot, Elton. Let's meet the two teams, beginning with Arsenal. John Lukic in goal. Number 2, Lee Dixon. 3, Nigel Winterburn. 4 is Michael Thomas. 5, Steve Bold. 6, Tony Adams, the captain. 7, David Rocastle. Number 8 is Kevin Richardson. 9, Alan Smith, needing 1 for his 100 league goals. 10, Paul Merson. And 11, Brian Marwood, with the substitutes Martin Hayes and David O'Leary. Good news for Liverpool is that Steve Nicholls recovered from a rib injury. John Barnes also returns, but Ian Rush is still out injured. Their team then, Mike Hooper in goal. Number 2, Gary Ablett. Number 3 is Steve Staunton. Barry Venison not playing today. 4 is Steve Nicol. 5, Ronnie Whelan. 6, Nigel Spackman. 7 is Peter Beardsley. 8, John Aldridge. 9, Ray Houghton. Number 10 is John Barnes, who returns after a hamstring injury, kept him out for 4 games. And 11 is Steve McMahon, with the substitutes David Burrows and Alex Watson. The referee is Vic Callow from Solihull, waiting to get this important First Division game underway. Liverpool in their change strip of silver blue, attacking the goal to our left. Now, what sort of Liverpool are we going to see today? The one that beat Arsenal so brilliantly 11 days ago at Villa Park, or the one that in many turns capitulated against West Ham, an excellent West Ham performance on Wednesday night. Arsenal have lost their last 2 games, the Littlewoods Cup replay against Liverpool and against Derby County at the baseball ground last weekend. And Liverpool with a draw at home against Wimbledon last weekend, and then that West Ham defeat, both looking now to get back on the road again. And Arsenal, as we've said, with that great incentive that if they do win here today, they go ahead of Norwich City at the top on goal difference. The 5th time they've met this season. The Mercantile Credit Arsenal won 2-1, then those 2 drawn games in the Littlewoods Cup, and then Liverpool going through at the 3rd attempt. Trevor Francis with me. You've played, in fact, against both these sides. We're changing the ball. We've played against both these sides over the last 6 weeks, Trevor. Your impression about how this game might go?
Well, I feel that both sides will start the first 15 minutes taking a rather cautious approach. But Arsenal being the home side, obviously the emphasis is on them to go out and get a victory.
Well, here's Winterburn, their left back. Apart from that Mercantile Credit victory we saw on the caption a moment ago, Arsenal, in fact, have not beaten Liverpool since they did so at Wembley in the Littlewoods Cup final 2 seasons ago. Liverpool winning home and away in the league last season. Well, here's Beardsley to Houghton, to Aldridge. The foul there on Ray Houghton by Tony Adams, and a free kick to Liverpool. as though it might be Houghton who might just lift it in towards Aldridge. Nichols up there from the back. John Barnes in there as well. Spackman also coming up quickly. And it's Spackman on the far side, getting the header in. And Michael Thomas had come back with him, but Spackman lost him, and it needed a challenge from Lee Dixon, who seems to have injured his elbow. But there was certainly a late run, and an interesting one there, Trevor Francis, from Nigel Spackman.
A very determined run. He meant to win that ball, and I think he surprised Michael Thomas. I think Michael didn't realise he was coming in behind him.
Well, here's that free kick coming in, Trevor. Dixon with the jump, and Spackman had lost Thomas, and that's how Dixon got his injury. I fancy that Liverpool, after that defeat at West Ham, will shake their heads like good old pros that they are. They've been hurt by a couple of quite nasty blows. And you fancy that they will set their stall out to prevent Arsenal winning here today, that a draw might be something they're looking for first, and if things fall their way in the opposing penalty area, well, then it could be a victory. Here's John Lukic with the goal kick for Arsenal. Lee Dixon okay again. Smith jumping for this one, but not getting. Winterburn, so competitive getting in against Houghton. The throw being taken by Ronnie Whelan, playing at right back. Steve Nicol. Good show of faith by Kenny Dalglish in Steve Staunton. Own goal was really the turning point in that defeat at West Ham, but Kenny is stuck with him. He's only 19. He's bold with a header, caught a little bit off balance. Peter Beardsley with the throw. Barnes. Taken away by Dixon. And now Winterburn. Whelan. To Nicol. Mike Cooper, the 6'1" goalkeeper, 24 years old. Adams versus Aldridge. Aldridge got the touch. Winterburn back to Lukic. McMahon being forced back. Staunton was his only refuge, and Staunton did well to play it forward. It came off Barnes, although Barnes claims it hit Dixon. It'll be Arsenal's throw. Waiting for Adams to come forward. It's Paul Merson here, stabbing it back again for Dixon. Thought he had time to measure up across there, but he preferred to take on both Barnes and Staunton gets it away. Here's Winterburn. Adams. Given to Whelan. Bit of space here for Beardsley. Bringing Barnes in. Will he get through Dixon? Liverpool's throw. Staunton. Richardson. Smith chasing this. Nicol getting it back gently. Such fears in the Liverpool camp that Nicol wouldn't be fit after injuring a rib at West Ham. Been a lot of talk in the last couple of days about Nicol being, even at this early stage, a candidate for Footballer of the Year, and certainly he's had a tremendous influence. Here he is on the ball at the moment, a tremendous influence at the early part of this season for Liverpool. But equally, I would say Ronnie Whelan has as well. Whelan playing at right back today. He's played in both full-back positions against Arsenal in that Littlewoods Cup saga. and as a midfielder as well. Here he is, number 5. Houghton dispossessed by Adams. Staunton. Barnes. Houghton's made a break. Here's Staunton. Barnes again. Touched by Houghton. And Houghton getting it back from Beardsley, but Lukic was there and the flag stayed down, and the long kick now releasing Smith. Nickel there with him. McMahon. This is getting into gear now. Barnes. Arsenal with plenty back. Spackman planting it wide here for Staunton. Adams getting it away. Spackman getting a 1-2 from Beardsley. Beardsley again. Dancing past the challenge of Adams, and Houghton on the far side, offside. Beardsley was an absolute master against Arsenal 11 days ago at Aston Villa. Trevor Francis, I think you saw that game on TV that night.
Yes, I'm interested to see how tactically Arsenal cope with him, because, as you say, in that game he did walk all over Arsenal, playing in a row, not up front, but just in front of the midfield. He's very, very difficult to mark, and I think if he plays that way again today, Arsenal are going to have problems.
Whelan caught a little off balance. Ablett behind him, though. Tony Adams, back to Lukic. Dixon. Merson. The 20-year-old. Stopped by the 19-year-old Staunton. Oh, McMahon playing them into trouble. Smith with a shot on the turn, well wide. Not a real chance there for Alan Smith. Scorer of 14 goals this season, Mr. Dalglish, looking on phlegmatically. Of all people, surprising really that it should have been Steve McMahon who got Liverpool in a spot of bother there. Playing it back, but it's not going to reach the keeper. Richardson battling his way through, but a foul on him, giving Arsenal the free kick. Marwood behind this one. Bolds up from the back. So too is Adams. Smith, another 6-footer in there. And they're all leading the way, and it was Smith who got there first. With his 14 goals this season, Arsenal's leading goal scorer, but he hasn't scored in the last 5 and failed to reach the net in any of those matches against Liverpool. As you can see, 99 league goals. Looking for the 100th today, a landmark reached by Tony Cottee yesterday. Staunton.
Brian, the header we just saw there from Alan Smith, this is a danger to the Liverpool defence, because, as we all know, the two boys who are playing there, they're not really centre-halves. Nicola and Ablett are both full-backs, and if they are going to be beat, this is a position where they are a little bit vulnerable.
Yes, West Ham scored their first 2 goals from corners on Wednesday night. 5 More balls into the middle that weren't adequately dealt with. Dixon. Nickel away. Richardson. Dixon again. Wilson kept out of the play by Ablett. The clearance by Staunton. Adams is giving it to Beardsley. An offside. There couldn't have been much in it against Aldridge. And Arsenal's free kick. Way outside the penalty area. John Lukic will take it. Towards Smith. Got the header in. Person up there too. Marwood trying to get in, but it's headed back by Ronnie Whelan. Bowles header. Now Barnes. Beardsley very active up ahead of him. And Barnes getting very skillfully past, not one challenges, but two. Aldridge ducking it in there, but couldn't find Houghton. McMahon. Whelan. Some delightful play there by John Barnes a moment ago, Trevor. Looking a better balanced side with Barnes in it. Castle now Smith. Richardson. A good ball there to Brian Marwood. Now Winterburn. Played in short for Thomas. Smith. And Ablett back.
Yes, that was a great bit of skill by John Barnes. Got past two defenders and put over a good cross. It's interesting, actually, that Bobby Robson was here to see this game today, and he'll be pleased to see Barnes showing this early form after his hamstring injury.
And here he is again. He's got Beardsley up ahead of him. Bowles trying to hold him at bay. Beardsley getting it across, but Winterburn clearing it for Arsenal.
Brian, you mentioned I watched the game recently between Arsenal and Liverpool at Villa Park, but I also watched the game, the first replay here, when Liverpool came just for a draw, and that's what they achieved. But I'm surprised that today they've come here, I feel, looking to win this game. I felt they would be very cautious early on, but they are looking to win this, and they've started very well.
Well, here's Beardsley, and now Houghton. Aldridge trying to get up quickly. Houghton held it back beautifully, but Dixon gets it away. Barnes. Dixon losing that under pressure from Aldridge. Crossed in, and Houghton almost on the end of it. And Arsenal's defence looking at each other, but it was Dixon's error in the first place, and Barnes again at the centre of things for Liverpool. Devastating little cross in there, and Aldridge couldn't quite reach it. So with a quarter of an hour of this game gone, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0.
Another tremendous run there by Barnes, and actually, Brian, I think it was Houghton and not Aldridge who went in on the ball. I think if it had been Aldridge, he perhaps might have scored.
That's right. It's Lukic with the ball for Arsenal. Staunton with the throw. Ablett. set there again. Dixon. Smith. Smith again. Merson. So little space there, as you can see. And Merson. Oh, and it falls now for Winterburn. It was a little back heel there by Ray Houghton that very nearly opened up the way for Nigel Winterburn. Merson playing it across there. And Houghton tried desperately to play it one way. All he succeeded in doing was hitting it straight to Winterburn, who may indeed have had a bit more time than he allowed himself.
Yes, I would have thought that Nigel would be a little bit disappointed with that shot, because in that situation you have to try and shoot across the goalkeeper to try and make him make a save.
Winterburn now backpedaling quickly from Houghton. And Houghton, for a moment at any rate, getting possession. And then he's helped out by Marwood. Back to Lukic. And getting rid of Marwood's tongue for his work as well. Smith didn't get to it, neither did Merson, but it comes off Ablett for the Arsenal corner. With 18 minutes gone and no score. Marwood with the corner. Smith's header. Ablett got that away. Richardson playing it wide again, but here's Barnes now. He's got Beardsley up, and Aldridge has come up quickly as well. Thomas doing a good job at the back there for Arsenal. And it'll be an Arsenal throw. Michael Thomas. Hit towards Merson. Nicol versus Smith. Now Whelan. Brian Marwood getting it back to Winterburn. Now Marwood, good crosser of a ball, and there's one of them, but keeper there this time. Shot there of all the new Arsenal boxes behind Mike Cooper's goal, the old clock end. Rocastle. Merson. Oh, and over the top from Smith. That was a chance. Had to be taken quickly, it's true. But a man who was scoring goals almost as easily as he could write his name earlier on in the season, just things aren't going his way at the moment for Alan Smith. Certainly had to take it quickly, Trevor.
Yes, he was stressing for the ball there, and difficult chance, very, very difficult chance. But good work from Rocastle.
Smith again. Marwood. Arsenal getting up ahead of steam at the moment. Rocastle. And there's a good ball. A lovely ball by Rocastle for Dixon. Crossed well by him, and Nicol putting it behind for the corner. Marwood will take this one as well. Once again, the big men from the defence have come forward. Bold, Adams and Thomas. Goal coming in at the far side, just over the Liverpool crossbar. Goal kick.
Brian, Arsenal are so dangerous from their set pieces, looking to get Adams in from the flick on from Bode. But that was an interesting corner there, because Marwood hit it straight to the back post and rather took Liverpool by surprise.
Yes, often enough they've had Bold at the near post, a little flick on, and then Adams charging in from the far post, as you say.
Yes, I know all about those corners because he scored with that against Queen's Park Rangers. One of his 3 goals, I believe, this season.
Whelan. Hold with the header. Staunton. Smackman to McMahon. Tigerish battle in the midfield at the moment. In goes Dixon. McMahon and Smackman and Richardson and Thomas. Houghton to Whelan, played forward again to an offside John Barnes. Arsenal lost only 1 here this season, and that was against Aston Villa.
Arsenal now settled down after a very shaky opening 10 minutes. I would have thought that that defeat against Liverpool at Villa Park, when it was probably one of the best team performances we've seen this season, didn't do too much for their confidence.
Winterburn. Hold. And Nicol gets it back. Coming up to the 25-minute mark. It's still Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Ball with the header. Thomas gets it back. No goals here, but don't forget that bonanza of half-time goals we have for you from all the other First Division games. That'll include Tony Cotte's 100th league goal, a spectacular one from Mark Hughes for Manchester United. Now the leaders, Norwich City, were beaten. And I have to say, a very special goal by my co-commentator today, Trevor Francis. Aldrich! Against the post! Arsenal breathe again. And Liverpool so close to snapping out of defence to getting that very important first goal. Good run here by Aldrich, and a well-struck shot by a player who loves to play against Arsenal. He scored in both the league games last season and, of course, got the winner in that Littlewoods Cup replay 11 days ago. Now Dixon springing out for Arsenal. Merson. Beardsley like a little terrier getting in there and stopping Rocastle. Liverpool's throw. And Steve Staunton with it. Bold. Oh, nearly ran into trouble there from McMahon. Merson, the short ball to Richardson, showed too much of that to Beardsley, brought down, free kick to Liverpool. Smackman. Aldrich, Barnes, flag is up. Winterburn. Smackman. Barnes back pass to Hooper. Waiting for an Arsenal player to show. McMahon to Houghton. There's Winterburn. Straight to Whelan. Barnes, touched by him to Beardsley. Little chip, the flag is up on this side. Aldridge again fractionally offside. Now that new angle of ours from the camera inside the goal of that shot by John Aldridge. As you can see, it shook the crossbar, or the post rather, the netting and our camera as well. Struck with some force. Dixon to Smith. Nichols with him. And McMahon diving in there. Not sure it was necessary to dive in quite like that and concede the corner quite so readily. Now let's see what Arsenal do with this one. Again, they've left Bold and Adams fairly deep. And Marwood... there's only Merson at the near post to aim for. It's a deep one again towards Steve Bold. This is Thomas. Good play there by Thomas, wrong footing them all. Adams right in there. And somehow Liverpool kept that out. Marwood crossing it again. Adams that time with a header, but straight into the arms of Hooper. Plenty of good goal-mouth action at the moment, Trevor Francis.
What we're seeing here, Brian, is two top-quality teams playing top-quality soccer. We've also seen some great individual skills. Earlier we saw some good work from John Barnes, and there Michael Thomas doing some great work on the flank and putting in a great cross, which put Liverpool in all sorts of trouble.
Whelan towards Bold. Barnes touching it now for Peter Beardsley. Aldridge waiting in the middle. Played back for John Barnes, just wide. Well, things seem to be happening for Liverpool down that left flank, even though Barnes himself wasn't involved until right at the end there. Peter Beardsley had a lot to do with it. And carved it back there for Barnes, hitting it first time wide of the post.
Actually, Peter Beardsley's first touch took him away from goal, so he lost his chance of a shot at goal, but he did the intelligent thing, pulled the ball back to John Barnes, and I would think John would be a bit disappointed he didn't score there.
Staunton. Happy then just to get it into touch, under pressure from Merson with Rocastle nearby. It'll be Dixon's throw. Bold has come up to act as a target. The edge of the 6-yard area. Smith also there with Merson. It's a good long throw there. In fact, it was Staunton who got it away, and Michael Thomas high into the crowd. Shouting for it, getting it, playing it forward here for Aldridge. A touch by him for Barnes. McMahon wants to join in the attack, but this is a lovely ball, and there's spaces here now for Beardsley to exploit. Turning ball one way, the other. The chip is magnificent, and just flicked away there. Lukic got a touch. In fact, Aldridge on the far side turned it back into the side netting. It'll be a goal kick. What skillful work again by Peter Beardsley. Dancing around those defenders, a delightful little chip. That's something to chip a man of 6'4". And it's a goal kick for Arsenal.
Absolutely magnificent play from Beardsley. It's a pity he didn't finish it off, because we could be talking about that goal forever.
Thomas now for Arsenal. Well, this 5th game of the season between these two sides is just taking off where the others left off. The 3 in the Littlewoods Cup and the 1 in the Mercantile Credit. Staunton. Adams. Whelan, very positive, getting in first, and look who's galloping away down that far side again, Beardsley. Houghton playing it in towards Aldrich. And suddenly Spackman appears, but it's wide of the goal. Never scored for Liverpool, Nigel Spackman. But Beardsley causing all sorts of devastation on the left flank, suddenly switched his attention to the right. Spackman's shot goes wide.
Once again, Beardsley's having a great influence on this game, and I'm really surprised that Arsenal haven't detailed someone to man-to-man marking, because a player of his ability, you can't give him this amount of space.
Slotting in just behind John Aldridge, isn't he?
Well, Tony Adams is marking Aldridge, and they're trying to put Steve Bode to mark the area of Beardsley, but he's not very happy there, because I would think for 40 games a season he plays alongside Adams, and now he's trying to come forward and he's not very happy at all there.
Aldrich, Houghton called for it, got it. A long ball played forward. Beardsley going for it, but Adams will get there first. Back safely to Lukic. Thomas. Whelan. And Arsenal's throw. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. And still 0-0. Smith goes through the challenge of McMahon. Determined to try and get that ball out to Brian Marwood. It's with Winterburn, played inside now for Richardson. And then Thomas. Merson. Richardson. Smith again. Rocastle shot! That must have moved a lot in the air, because Hooper moved. Didn't actually get his hand to it, it seemed, but it cannoned off his chest. And fiercely struck there by David Rocastle. Oh, the deflection was from Nicol. Harwood. Rocastle. Dixon. And a flag up for an offside. In fact, that was an astonishing piece of good reaction goalkeeping from Mike Hooper, because that was quite a nasty deflection there, Trevor. I'm not sure that it was Steve Nicol, actually. But it was off a Liverpool defender, and certainly Hooper had so little time to see it.
We played against Liverpool recently at Loftus Road, and the person that impressed me most in a very, very good Liverpool performance was the goalkeeper, Mike Hooper. And he must be playing well to keep Bruce Grobbler out the team, because, as we all know, Bruce is an excellent goalkeeper.
Yeah, Bruce is here today. He's had meningitis earlier this season, and he's in good shape now. It's Hooper here. And that was now Adams, what is little injury, but Tony Adams back in a good defensive position for Arsenal again now. Aldrich. No, it will be Bold getting it back. Foul by Whelan on Marwood. Waiting for Adams to come forward. Bold is there, as you can see. Smith. Adams now will join them. There he is, number 6. Waiting for them, and it was Spackman's header. And then won by Barnes. Not much ground on it, though. Rocastle for Arsenal. McMahon. Spackman taking it in his stride. Beardsley, oh, what a good ball. No, a bad one in the end, but the idea was a perfect one, changing the point of the attack so well as Barnes made that run down the left. And for once, Beardsley's touch betrayed him. And Dixon with the throw. When he's in this sort of form, he's a joy to watch, Peter Beardsley. Richardson to Dixon. Rocastle. Foul on him by Staunton. Taken quickly. Rocastle. There's a cross flown in there. Hooper looked to be impeded, but nonetheless got it at the second attempt. Yes, it's a free kick. 3 6-footers, Adams, Bold and Smith all in there. Hooper's kick.
Once again, another great cross from David Rocastle. The only surprising aspect of this game is that there's no goals, because we've seen plenty of great play, plenty of chances, but it's still scoreless.
People again, if their hunger is for goals. Thank goodness we've got some for you at half-time in our special sequence. Whelan with the throw for Liverpool. McMahon. Touch on by Ulrich. Hatton with that busy stride of his on the far side. Lukic's gather. And long clearance. Rocastle. Oh, a good ball there. Smith combining well with Merson. Bringing in Marwood. Thomas on the far side. And then loses out to Houghton. Comes to Winterburn. Marwood again. There's his cross. And when it came off McMahon, could have put Liverpool in trouble. Last 5 minutes of the first half. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Richardson. It's a Liverpool throw. Ablett. Cut out well by Adams. Smith. Ablett again. Whelan there, just sensing there was a hint of danger as Marwood came in. Just a little bit of acceleration, got it back to Mike Hooper. Aldridge. Richardson getting it forward to Smith. Marwood crowded out. Oh, that's a ball now for Merson, but I think it'll beat him into touch. Gets it. Winterburn. Got round Beardsley. Played it in towards Smith. Winterburn again. Now Marwood. Spackman.
Ablett. Foul on Ablett by Merson. Two minutes of the first half left. Still goalless, but here's Barnes. Flag up, and offside. And Barnes had a little word with Aldridge. Pass didn't quite come as he wanted it. Aldridge. Houghton to Beardsley. Houghton this time to Staunton. It's Barnes. Might come for Houghton.
Playing it into the path of Aldridge, perhaps. McMahon has come wide for him. Here's McMahon. Not quite like the finishing stroke that Steve McMahon found at Villa Park, which brought it back to 1-1 with that stunning goal against Arsenal 11 days ago, Trevor.
No, yet another good chance for Liverpool there. Good break from Houghton, and Aldridge got the ball back to him. But it's been an excellent first half, and as I said before, the only thing that's missing is a goal.
Harwood. Nicol gets it back. Real full stretch there because Smith was after him. Merson. Whelan will pick this up. McMahon. Aldridge. Now Whelan. Spackman on the far side. Houghton. Barnes. Richardson finding Rocastle. Beardsley getting away from Dixon. Aldridge, Barnes and Houghton are waiting in the middle. And Spackman too. Air shot. Smith. Nichols' ball back to Hooper. Half-time whistle. As Trevor Francis said, a really entertaining first half with plenty of good goal-mouth incident. Nobody better on the field so far than Peter Beardsley of Liverpool. But at half-time here at Highbury, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0.
Welcome back. 21 First Division goals yesterday. Jim Rosenthal starts us off with the leaders Norwich and their first away defeat of the season at Aston Villa.
Norwich caught Aston Villa on one of their best days of the season. Kevin Gage, 21 minutes gone, and that's a fine opening goal. Norwich say they prefer playing away from home, 5 wins and a draw. Gage can't get the ball away here, and Trevor Putney, who's got 1 or 2 vital goals, squeezes the equaliser past Nigel Spink. Norwich, though, really overrun in the second half. Villa played some great stuff. Alan McAnally through and clear here. Ryan Gunn out. Thought he got the ball. The referee didn't. It's a harsh penalty against Norwich, but Gunn saves well from Platt. No keeping Villa at bay, though. And the goal scorer, number 11, Putney, the villain of the piece for Norwich, a little slip. Andy Gray onto it like a flash. He provides so many things for Villa, does Gray. And Platt atones for that penalty miss. Villa now developing into a good attacking side. Kevin Gage sweeps in his second and Villa's third. Villa's best home performance of the season. Norwich's unbeaten away record has gone.
This East End derby was a home banker, if ever there was one. I know, you've heard it all before. Millwall third and unbeaten at the Den, West Ham next to bottom. But when Ian Dawes' back pass was intercepted by Alan Dickens, Paul Ince picked up his 4th goal in 4 games in front of Millwall's biggest crowd for 12 years. The West Ham revival continues.
Southampton are one of the in-form sides at the moment, unbeaten in 10 matches. The Wallace brothers have got a lot to do with that. This is Rodney Wallace with a splendid cross, and Neil Maddison, a teenager in his first full league game, heads the Saints in front. Wimbledon haven't won in the league since early October, and they came back just 3 minutes later. Vinnie Jones with a free kick, another set piece. Burridge can't get the ball away, and Terry Gibson, lethal in that sort of situation, equalises. Well, right at the end, Southampton paid for a series of missed chances. Shades of the cup final here, another set piece. This time it's Wise, and Carlton Fairweather heads in the winner. Wimbledon really needed the points, their first win in 7 games.
Spurs, 4 league games without defeat. Now, one of the debatable issues of the weekend here, Ian Snowden's pass. Now, Tony Cottee looked well and truly offside until you noticed Terry Fenwick playing him on. A slight delay, but as soon as Cottie's predatory instincts returned, well, that was pure Greavesy, wasn't it? His 100th league goal.
Manchester United were chasing their first win in 10 matches. Ralph Milne got his first goal thanks to a deflection against his old club. United relaxed and much more confident. Remember Brian McClare's miss on the match last week at Newcastle? He can head them in, you know. And coming up now, one of the goals of the weekend from United's outstanding player, Mark Hughes. Look at that. Control and into the net. 3-0 to United, their best league win of the season.
Middlesbrough have the worst away record in the First Division. They'd lost their previous 2, and with only 1 goal in 4 games, they were probably more surprised than Forest to take the lead. Mark Brennan skidding one across the surface. Well, Forest, with only 1 home win all season, came back with some good old-fashioned wing play. Franz Carr back in favour, laying on the equaliser for Lee Chapman, who was reputedly out of favour before the match. A bit of Cleffy psychology, if you ask me. Well, less than 2 minutes later, Stuart Pearce combined brilliantly with Franz Carr. Pearce, he's the England full-back, Cleffy says, can't tackle. Atoning for his midweek sending off by laying on number 2 for Chapman. Middlesbrough, though, emerged with a point. Peter Davenport, their new signing, without a goal since moving from Manchester United, but obviously settling in, crossing perfectly for Stuart Ripley. From Forest's point of view, 1 defeat in their last 18 games, but a draw really not good enough.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday are missing the goals of Lee Chapman. Where would they be without Mel Sterling, the England fullback, playing as a striker? And that's his 6th goal of the season. Looked very much like 3 points for Sheffield Wednesday until the 89th minute. Referee Neil Midgley right in the middle of things. Watch as Ted McMinn drives this ball in. Now, is that handball there by Madden or by Micklewhite? The referee's in the perfect position and he says it's a penalty. Doesn't show up all that well on this slow motion, but I must say I agree with him. Nigel Callaghan to take the spot kick. 1-1 the result. Derby will settle for that. They haven't won at Hillsborough for 52 years.
4 without a win, Queen's Park Rangers. The game set alight by another vintage Trevor Francis goal. I wonder if he's watching. Great volley that, Trevor's 8th of the season. Well, Coventry had lost only 1 away. They went 2 down. Rangers playing with some style. Coney nodding it back for Mark Falco. Sharp turn, sharp goal all round. Well, in the main, it was a bad-tempered match, and Coventry's Trevor Peake paid a very severe penalty. Was that a sending-off offence? The referee thought so. Well, Coventry managed the goal before the end. David Speedy's first for 10 games. His 7th of the season from midfield. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Coventry 1. Getting quite engrossed in that. Trevor, by the way, has awarded himself a bottle of champagne for being the man of half-time. Well, there was another game in the Barclays League today, a little earlier on, a 12 o'clock kick-off. That was in the 3rd division. It was Northampton against Wolves, the leaders. Wolves, the leaders beforehand. They still are, despite losing 3-1. It was 2-1 at half-time. The goal scorers, Wayne Williams, Dean Thomas and Tony Adcock, formerly of Manchester City for Northampton, and for Wolves, Robbie Dennison. So Northampton winning there by 3-1. No goals here at Highbury at half-time, but I'm sure these two thoroughbreds will put that right after the interval. Join us again.
And welcome back to Highbury. The team's just coming out for the second half, but we've got time for a word with Bruce Grobbelaar, the Liverpool keeper who can't get back in the side at the moment. Overall impressions of the first half, Bruce?
Well, they both created 3 chances each. We've slightly had the better chances, although John Lukic hasn't made the save yet. John Aldridge has hit the crossbar and he's been put through by Ray Houghton, and then Mike Cooper made a marvellous save from David Rosecastle's a shot which deflected off one of our players. So we've had the even number of chances.
That was a fine effort from John Aldridge. You think he might have been a bit disappointed not to go an inch the other way?
Well, not necessarily, really, because John Lukic has come into an area, he done his angles right, and the ball unfortunately hit the upright and the crossbar.
And Mike Cooper, who's keeping you out of the side, he reacted splendidly, because that shot got quite a deflection, didn't it?
Yes, he'd already committed himself. His feet were in the air, and he just threw his left arm out, and he produced a magnificent save, really.
On a personal level, how frustrating is it for you, Bruce, not being able to play?
Not frustrating. I'm enjoying a nice card game here at Highbury. Even the Panda's got a message.
Yeah, ID cards out, I think it is. Bruce, thanks very much for joining us. Let's get back to the action with Trevor Francis and Brian Moore.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, over now for the start of the second half, 0-0. Callow, the referee from Solihull, gets us underway. And if Arsenal win tonight, they go top of the first division. Aldridge. Michael Thomas. Going down Aldridge. I'm not sure whether referee Callow wants to take a bit of action. In fact, it's with Tony Adams. A sharp word, a free kick to be taken by Whelan. There's so much about each other, these two sides now, that you feel it'll take a little bit of magic to separate them. Well, in fairness, both sides, as Bruce Grobbelaar was saying, have made good chances. Here's Barnes skipping his way through, Staunton on the far side. Barnes with a shot! And at last the chance has been accepted, and Liverpool are in the lead. Reminiscent really of his goal at Anfield in the first of those Littlewood Cup games, in that same sort of channel, skipping past one challenge after another. Staunton came in on the left and looked for a moment as though he might get the shot, but Barnes in fact puts it across Lukic's body, and Liverpool in the lead. And now from our camera inside the goal, and the ball in there now to join it. Trevor Francis.
Well, I think George Graham will be disappointed with his defence there. It's very bad defending, but as a forward, I prefer to talk about the great play from John Barnes. Terrific dribble, and finished it with a great cross shot. Actually, the goal was inevitable because there have been so many chances in this game that it just had to come.
Thought for a moment that Staunton was going to get in there and get in the way for a moment. So Liverpool ahead. No handball. Beardsley challenged by Bold, and Beardsley gets the better of it, finds Aldridge. Barnes on the far side. McMahon. Well, it's one of the oldest, it's becoming one of the oldest sayings in the game that Liverpool are at their most dangerous when they appear to be down. They had a bad week, but it looks as though there's another typical Anfield backlash here at Highbury today. Adams. Winterburn. Howard. Spackman. Nice throw with Rocastle. Smith trying to get the cross in and find Marwood. Being chased out by Whelan. Winterburn. Arsenal being given no time to settle whatsoever. Hence you get little mistakes like that from Brian Marwood. Liverpool a side with the best defensive record in the First Division, only 10 goals conceded in their First Division games. Arsenal, for their part, with the best attacking record with 31, which will give some comfort to their supporters in the hope that they can turn this one round. Staunton. So, from the other side of the pitch now, this is the John Barnes goal. Slipping one challenge after another. There's Staunton, number 3, but Barnes decides that he'll take it into his own hands. And there's the goal. And the first league goal of the season could be such an important one. If there's a Liverpool player needing some treatment, it's Steve Staunton.
Brian, when you consider that Liverpool without Hansen, Gillespie, Mulby and Ian Rush, it's yet another fantastic performance from them. And I really think that at the moment they are a few points behind the leaders, but I'm sure that once again they'll win the championship this year.
I think there are a few people in East Anglia might disagree with you. Norwich leading the championship, of course, at the moment. Barnes. No doubt all Canera's fans will be rooting for Liverpool to hold this lead and preserve Norwich's lead at the top of the First Division. But at the moment it's Adams charging forward for Arsenal, taking the ball back from Thomas, but his pass was far too fierce for Marwood to get to it. Whelan with the throw. Richardson. This is Dixon. Dixon going on, but Nicol calmly in control. As you say, without the likes of Gillespie and Hansen, but they still remain probably in the First Division the most difficult defence to break down, don't you think?
Yes, I think the players who have come in have done an excellent job. They are good players, because if they weren't, I'm sure Kenny Dalglish would have gone out and bought replacements.
Winterburn. Yes, the flag is up.
was up, then it went down. The referee allowed it to go on. And what now? A corner given, I think, to Arsenal. Yes, indeed it is. So the North Bank behind Mike Hooper's goal. In good voice now, the ball coming off. Well, it didn't appear, unless we stopped the slow motion early, actually to go beyond the line. Marwood. Beardsley, Nicol, doing it away to Thomas. It's an interesting shot, and well gathered by Hooper. Curling beautifully there from Michael Thomas. Hold. Spackman's header. McMahon. Carefully finding Beardsley. Goal kick. George Graham in the centre of the picture now, down from the director's box for this second half. The two substitutes at the back there, on the left Martin Hayes and of course David O'Leary. Arsenal badly wanted to get another run going with this game today. If they lose, of course, it'll be 3 successive defeats. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 1. Dixon. Rocastle. McMahon finding Barnes. Nicol. Richardson to Lee Dixon. So come from McMahon. Beardsley had made such a good break down the left-hand side. Anxiety to get level. Arsenal seem to have upped the tempo still more, and maybe with it have lost a little bit of control. It's Liverpool's ball. Whelan with the kick. Back to Lukic. Staunton away. Dixon to take the throw for Arsenal. Staunton will be there. Came off Lee Dixon for Liverpool's throw. It's a long clearance, and Aldrich hustling bold. That's a foul, it's a free kick. We decided that the game should be allowed to go on. Arsenal comfortably
in possession. Seeking to get away and just touched behind. In fact, Hooper, yes, the referee's pointing to the corner flag. Hooper flung himself at that. Excellent piece of work by Brian Marwood, providing Arsenal with the corner. Hooper just getting that touch to it, as you could see. Hooper now facing this corner from Marwood. Arsenal seeking an equaliser. Winterburn. Dixon. Rocastle. Merson won't get to it. It cannoned off him, actually, after the clearance from Whelan. It'll be a goal kick. Took quite a clout there. Some quality football being played by both these sides today, and you think of the money that's been spent on some of the squads in the First Division, why not? Liverpool there, 9.4 million. 2.8 of that, of course, getting Ian Rush back from Juventus. Peter Beardsley was 1.9. Arsenal there on just 2.8. Their most expensive player is Alan Smith at 800,000. And in the second row there, well wrapped up against the weather, lady from show business, Miss Eartha Kitt. Fit again, like Hooper. Excellent save of his from Marwood. Gold gets up. Smith hangs in the air. Rocastle. Look how Liverpool played for each other there. Staunton, they fancied, might have been in a bit of trouble, and instantly two defenders were around him to help out. So now Winterburn. Almost fell for Merson, and Whelan, with an icy temperament there, just held up the little pass, found Houghton with it. There's Lukic out, it cannoned off Adams. Aldridge playing it wide for Barnes. Lukic is back in his goal. Barnes now for Liverpool, the cross towards Aldridge, tried the overhead. Houghton got Whelan available to him. Cut out by Winterburn. And Liverpool's throw. Oh, look at the space they've allowed Houghton to run away from them there. Beardsley. Barnes waiting at the far side. Beardsley. Houghton shot, and it's wide. And defensively, Arsenal were well caught out there, Trevor Francis.
Yes, it's players like Houghton and Barnes and Beardsley there, making all sorts of runs and playing with this little bit of fantasy here. Great play there by Beardsley.
Lukic with the goal kick. Liverpool still leading by a goal to nil. Ablett's header. Nickel.
Brian, I just mentioned the word fantasy or inventiveness, whatever you want to call it. I think it's what perhaps Arsenal just are a little bit lacking today. And I would think that with Paul Davis now serving his suspension and able to play, he will come back into the team very soon, I would think.
Yes, George Graham's very clear, though, that Kevin Richardson has done really well for him, and that Paul will have to battle for his place in this Arsenal midfield. Barnes. Beardsley. Aldridge is up. Houghton's joining him, but it's all Beardsley at the moment. Trying to turn that back for Houghton, but only hit Adams with it. And Arsenal can drag it away from deep with Winterburn. Now Marwood. Winterburn to Smith. Thomas. Look at the space there for Merson. And the shot from Rocastle goes wide. This is wildly exciting now.
Certainly end-to-end stuff. Peter Beardsley was through there, and then David Rocastle at the other end. If I may, if there is a slight criticism of Peter Beardsley...
Let's just look at this first as we see Rocastle's shot go wide. Yes, a criticism of Peter Beardsley?
Yes, I mean, Peter Beardsley's having an excellent game. I love his skills. He's got great individual ability. But I just feel that for one of his ability, he should score more goals. And when he gets himself into attacking positions there in front of goal, I feel he just hasn't got the want to score a goal.
Yes, Peter's got 4 this season. He's gone 6 now without scoring. Twice given a free transfer there by Manchester United, it said. 27 years old. Way back in his early days, those Man United decisions. And the game is full of that sort of talk. A number of people who maybe have turned down Kevin Keegan or George Best and so on. It happens all the time, and it'll go on happening. Whelan with the throw for Liverpool. Richardson, Staunton's header, Barnes, McMahon, back to Hooper. This is Houghton. Whelan to Barnes. Well, Adams on the wrong foot there, but allowed too much curl. And it's a goal kick. As I say, it is such a funny old game when you think of Liverpool 11 days ago. As you say, the performance of the season, Trevor, when they beat Arsenal, and then that aberration against West Ham when they were wrong-footed by the eager West Ham side almost from the word go, and you just felt it never was going to be their night. And now they're right back in the groove here again, looking so professional and so menacing, and leading by a goal to 0. Barnes. Beardsley. Running the show. And he's found Aldridge. Houghton. They ripped Arsenal apart there. And none more so than Peter Beardsley. And no wonder the goalkeeper's got plenty to complain about. Here he goes again, Trevor. Smith winning it above Ablett. Merson playing it in the path of Winterburn. Well tackled by Whelan. Houghton could be getting into trouble. On the other hand, he might have the skill to get out of it. But here's Bold. Richardson. Gentle little pass now through for Marwood. Ball played back to Hooper, but not a lot of time to spare as Smith came in. And the match still balanced delicately on a knife edge. Houghton. Winterburn there. Here's Marwood. This is where you feel that things could spring from for Arsenal down this left flank, and Brian Marwood stopped that time by Nicol. John Barnes, 46 minutes. Marwood. Nice little flick on there. Smith looked to be offside. New face of Arsenal, all those boxes at the clock end, 53 of them. They'll be ready in April. 10-year leases, £120,000 if you fancy one for an 8-seater, £200,000 for a 12-seater, but they've already all gone. And up behind that green tarpaulin you saw right at the top there is the famous old Arsenal clock, which will be unveiled before the live game against Spurs here on January the 2nd. So it'll still be known as the clock end. If it were working now, it would say 23 minutes of the second half gone. Liverpool leading by 1-0. Ablett. The way he slotted into the centre of the back has been remarkable, and there's a remarkable ball now for Barnes. Well saved by Lukic. Terrific work by Ablett. And he's got to be one of the bonuses of the season for Liverpool. The way he's, with all those injuries, has slotted in with such composure as a central defender. What a great run out on a fine ball to Barnes. And now Rocastle on the far side. Stopped brilliantly by Hooper. I wonder, he puffs out his cheeks. We're all doing that at the moment. As one chance follows quickly after another. Bold with a header. Beardsley with the touch. Staunton to Barnes. No, for once Barnes' concentration was lacking. Slaps his thigh in annoyance. For all their professionalism, you know that Liverpool would be so happy with the cushion of a second goal, as Arsenal come at them again with Marwood crossed in. That time Ablett's there. Adams, Richardson, Adams again. Newcastle stopped by Barnes, Smith, Merson, Richardson again. It'll come for Dixon. Real nip and tuck. Rocastle playing it in. Smith getting in there. Arsenal level. An untidy goal that Liverpool will curse they've conceded. And Alan Smith was there to finish it off and score his 100th league goal of his career. His first goal in 5 games, and it comes to the saviour of Arsenal. Off the post, and finished off by Smith. Trevor?
Well, that's a typical goal scorer's goal there. What I was talking about before about Peter Beardsley not quite wanting to have the real will to score a goal. You saw there a fellow that wanted to score a goal. That was the difference.
That makes it 15 for the season now for Alan Smith. His touch now finding Thomas. Winterburn now forward for Arsenal, but that'll go into touch. Liverpool's throw.
The ball was played in by David Rocastle into a dangerous area in between Hooper and Whelan, but Smith made up his mind that it was his ball.
Good point, Trevor. Rocastle. Dixon. Staunton. Dixon. Nelson. Hit with the outside of the boot. Whelan really stretching for that one before Marwood could get to it. Blitz back to Hooper. Now Staunton. Dixon, or rather by Richardson, and Arsenal, now Liverpool are going to bring on a substitution. They're going to take off Steve Staunton and bring David Burrows on. The 20-year-old they bought from West Bromwich Albion for £500,000, and straight in the action. Castled by Merson. Back to Rocastle. Into Smith. Dixon trying to take it up. Beardsley. Stopped by Winterburn. Crisp challenging. Exciting running now as Beardsley takes it up. There's his shot over the top. His 100th league goal. Tony Cottee got his 100th yesterday, of course, for Everton, formerly with West Ham. Smith. Richardson finding Merson. And it's a free kick there. Actually, Arsenal claiming a penalty when Merson was brought down. But Vic Callow, the referee, was there, said nothing doing. In fact, he's given the free kick the other way in Liverpool's favour.
Well, I personally felt that was a good tackle. I think it was from the substitution. The substitute, wasn't it? Burrows got a good tackle in and prevented Merson from getting the shot in. No, I don't think that was a penalty.
I agree. Certainly didn't look it. Barnes. Actually quicker than anybody. Aldridge there, just offside. A quarter of an hour of the game left. Martin Hayes preparing to come on for Arsenal. Smith hanging underneath this one again. Merson cut out by Burrows. Dixon playing it forward to Richardson. Merson ducking in with a header. Spackman dragging it away for Liverpool, and here's McMahon. It's got a feeling of cup time now, isn't it?
Well, I was just thinking we've got 15 minutes left here, and both sides are not content to play for a draw. They're both going all out for victory.
Burrows. Dixon. Thomas. And again it's Thomas. He's got Winterburn on this side. He's picked him up. Driven it in. But off the defender for the corner. Forward come Bold and Adams. Marwood again. They might dip this one in towards the near post. That's where Bold is looking for the flick on. There's the flick on. Adams getting in there. Rocastle getting in. And that's the first time we've had that flick on that can be so dangerous. Richardson. Marwood. Thomas. And now Winterburn. Winterburn's cross charged down by Whelan. Beardsley.
throw there by Winterburn, knocked in again. Ablett getting it away and knocking it into the north bank. You're trying to tell me something, Trevor?
Just admiring this game so much, Brian. It's certainly the best game we've seen this season.
Now a flick on by Bold again. Adams trying to get in there. Knocked away by Whelan for Liverpool. Beardsley up. Now the chase is on. A foul on Dixon. A free kick to Arsenal. About 11 minutes of the game left. 1-1. Nicol. Thomas. Almost arrogant flick to the outside of the boot there to Marwood. 2 on him. And Whelan gets it to Houghton. Turns it inside. Gives it to Marwood again. What a mistake that was by Houghton. And so unlike Liverpool to give the ball away so clearly in such a dangerous area.
I continually hear people in the game, Brian, saying that we don't have the players in this country. I agree that perhaps the quality overall is not quite the same as it was a few years back, but we still do have some great players. And I think today, for Arsenal, for example, we've had Thomas, Rocastle, and for Liverpool, Barnes and Beardsley have been quite outstanding. Individual performances of the highest quality.
Dixon getting this one back. And I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's Trevor Francis who has to pick the man of the match. So he's obviously sorting a few names out as we go along towards the last 10 minutes of the game. Not an easy job today. A free kick to Liverpool. Alan Smith, after 70 minutes, equalising the goal by John Barnes just at the start of the second half. 10 minutes left. Trevor?
Yeah, I was going to say another important point is that every year the game gets quicker and quicker, and playing this frenetic pace is not easy to play, and that's why I think it's so hard that for players of the ability of Beardsley and Barnes to play so well.
And Rocastle here. Oh, and a canny dummy there by Steve Nicol. Certainly been great value today. Aldridge chasing this. And might win the battle, no. Claims he was held back. The referee agrees, and Liverpool have a free kick right on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Beardsley might want a bit of this, but I fancy John Barnes will get the nod. Totally appropriate for Liverpool that he's back in the side, because he can be so devastating now from just this sort of free kick. Plenty in the wall. Lukic will want a good sight of it. Is this going to be the decisive moment? Barnes clipping it against the crossbar and over. A little slap of annoyance, but it was a splendid free kick for all that. Clearing the wall, the dummy run made by Whelan. There's the little chip. Smith didn't quite get a touch to it. Off the top of the crossbar, and Arsenal breathe again. Ablett. Burrows. Ablett again. Barnes. Stopped by Dixon, and the free kick given to Liverpool. Graham was only saying a couple of days ago, I like players with a bit of fire and passion in their bellies. If you accept everything, you don't win very much. And there's been a lot of fire and passion about this Arsenal performance today, and indeed there has about Liverpool's too. Here's young David Burrows with the free kick for Liverpool. There's Dixon with the clearance. Rocastle bringing it away. Beardsley's after him, and Stockton. Burrows now. Got Beardsley away on the left. Bad pass. Barnes. And again it's Barnes. again. Well, the only one who could stop him was Lukic. Rocastle, Richardson. Richardson again. Arsenal with this great incentive if they can score a win in these last few minutes, go to the top of the table. Rocastle playing it in. It might be a little too deep. It's easy for Hooper. Six minutes left. Arsenal 1, Liverpool 1. Up goes Ablett. Here's Smith. There goes the whistle. It's a free kick. Arsenal want to make a substitution, but there just isn't time. The game is moving so quickly. I think it's Brian Marwood who's coming off. Winterburn at the moment with the ball for Arsenal. Marwood. Towards Merson. Rocastle. Played in by Dixon. There's Nichols stooping down there to head an awkwardly bouncing ball, and it goes behind for the corner. Now Arsenal will be able to make the substitution. Marwood normally takes those corners. In fact, he's gone across there now. And they're trying desperately to attract the referee's attention. And Marwood just wants to get on with it. And they still can't make the substitution. Marwood then with the corner. Now what are they going to do? It's another corner. And they still are desperately trying to make that substitution. And at last, I think the referee has seen it. And Brian Marwood disappointingly goes away. And he won't get a chance of taking that second corner. Comes on. And he'll take the corner.
I hope it's a good one, Brian.
Needs to be now. So Hayes with a corner for Arsenal. Oh, everyone. It's Richardson and flicked behind. It's a goal kick. 4 minutes left. All those honours that he received, of course, were as an Everton player before he moved on to Watford. Burrows for Liverpool. Game here still waiting to be won as we come towards the last couple of minutes. Free kick to Arsenal. Play for Aldrich. Here's Houghton. Stopped by Dixon. In goes Spackman. I think I've got to ask you now to seriously consider your man of the match, Trevor.
You want me to do it now, Brian, or can I wait a little longer?
I think we should have it now.
Well, I feel that the player of the match for me has got to be John Barnes. I think, considering he's been out for 4 games, it's a remarkable comeback.
It's with Dixon. Smith trying to get onto it. Nicholl getting it away, or rather Spackman in there getting it away. Well, I think there was a handball there by Adams, yeah. Drama there right at the finish, but certainly got the impression. And what a perfect
Looked like a perfect knot that Tony Adams got in the face from the goalkeeper for his pains as well.
I think Frank Bruno would have been pleased with that punch.
Exactly, but perfectly illustrating that it was a handball. Eliminating any doubt at all. And the score remains at 1-1. With just under 2 minutes left now. Aldridge touching it down for Beardsley. Winterburn. Hayes, the substitute. Burrows, the first to show for this one. Only as far as Lee Dixon. Now Rocastle. Rocastle again. Tries to get it back from Merson. McMahon hooking it away. And everybody on the Liverpool bench on their feet now, urging Liverpool to keep this ball out of their own half. It's Arsenal who are making the storming finish. But the pass there from Winterburn eluding Paul Merson, and Liverpool get the throw. The bench are back on their seats. For the moment. Except for Kenny Dalglish, who's been standing up the whole 90 minutes. George Graham on his feet as well. A terrific game coming to the last few seconds. Aldridge chasing this, Lukic there. Beardsley. Quick little look up. Barnes is alongside him. Beardsley. Aldridge is there with the header. Oh, he'll be furious with himself for that. Look, that picture tells it all. He knows that was a bad miss indeed, and the match could have been grabbed at the very last. Good work again by Beardsley. A perfect cross. Aldridge could almost mark his spot, but over the top it went. Trevor?
Well, yes, I think John Aldridge will be disappointed with that. He had the option of either putting it inside the Ray Houghton or trying to score himself. And really, he should have scored there.
Merson away. Rocastle. Playing time added on. And it'll surely be the last chance now for this game to be won. With the corner, and all the big men are up by Arsenal, but the littlest of the lot from Liverpool, Peter Beardsley, gets it away with a header. Rocastle. Burrows battling and winning. Barnes coming back to support him. Only Aldridge is up. Final whistle. Two great teams have provided great entertainment here today, and no mistake. Arsenal lose out on the chance to go top. Norwich is still there, but both sides putting behind them recent defeats. And John Barnes named the man of the match. It was he who put Liverpool into the lead right at the start of the second half. Alan Smith getting the equaliser for Arsenal. Final score, Arsenal 1, Liverpool 1.
Well, really, that was the sort of game that you didn't want to end. An example of First Division football at its very best. Arsenal just missing out on the chance of going top of the First Division, but I doubt whether they'll have too many complaints this afternoon. Well, we're going to take a break now. After that, the postscript. Well, what a contrast to last week and that lifeless, goalless draw at St James's Park between Newcastle United and Manchester United. 1-1 here at Highbury this afternoon. Arsenal just missing the chance of going top of the First Division. Let's see the top half. As you can see, Norwich still have that 2-point lead, having lost for the first time away from home at Aston Villa yesterday. It's Norwich-Arsenal next week as well. What a game that should be. Millwall in third place. They, of course, lost their unbeaten home record yesterday. Liverpool sitting very nicely there, just tucked in on the rails. We talked about the derby a little earlier on, and I think Liverpool will be well satisfied with that position, considering all the injury problems they've had this season, followed by Derby and Coventry. Southampton and Everton of the top 8 winners yesterday over Spurs. Well, of course, we did have a cracking goal here this afternoon by John Barnes, who got Trevor Francis's nomination as man of the match, and Alan Smith's 100th league goal, emulating Tony Cotty's milestone of yesterday. There with Jim Rosenthal. Here's Jim.
Thanks very much indeed, Elton. In fact, the watching Bobby Robson agrees with the nomination, so there's the bubbly for you first of all, John, and a nice way to come back into the side after missing a few matches.
Yeah, I found it quite difficult, you know, because I've missed 4 games, and I think it showed out there that I was probably lacking a bit of fitness. But the more it went on, the more I enjoyed it, and although I was tired towards the end, you know, I'm sure it was a good game to watch because it was a good game to play in. You
still had a bit of puff left right at the start of the second half, I think, John, and the goal just flashed in there on that little monitor below us, and one of your better ones, I would think.
Yeah, I don't really struggle running forward with fitness. It's only running back, you know, as the manager often tells me. But yeah, that was early on, and it opened up for me slightly. And I think I was a bit fortunate to get it through. I think I got it through someone's legs, and I thought Steve Staunton was actually going to take it.
I thought so as well on that one.
But he left it, and fortunately I put it in.
Right, let's bring in Alan Smith. Alan, a milestone for any footballer, the 100th league goal. And I think Trevor Francis described it as a striker's goal. You really wanted to get it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good ball played across the face of the box, I think, and I don't think the keeper or the defender, what was it? I just managed to get my head to it, and I think it came off the post there, and I just tapped it in.
You've had a bit of a barren spell, haven't you? You must have been pleased to see it go in.
Well, yeah, I've gone 5 games, so it's nice to describe that as a barren spell. But it is nice to get the 100.
Do you still see this lot finally, Liverpool, as the team to beat, the team to catch?
Yeah, I think they showed that today, definitely. They played some good stuff. We were never in it first half, really, and we got a good talking to from the manager. We showed some fight second half, which we were quite pleased about.
Just a quick comment from you, John?
Yeah, as he said, I thought we had the better of the first half, and probably the first 10 minutes in the second half. But, you know, we felt very confident then. I think the goal just gave them that lift they needed, and the crowd, of course, lifted them as well. And I think that they got on top then.
Thanks very much, both. The best match we've had this season. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll endorse that. Thanks, Jim. It's the Mersey Derby next week from all of us at Highbury. Bye-bye.